out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. This is the Other End of the Podcast, and this is Corey.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob.
I actually have real tears going. This is called method acting.
I'm an actor.
Acting? Thank y'all. I love my mother and father.
And there will be no murder.
Nothing is happening to them, or else I will avenge them. Like, who's the one who avenges?
The Avenger?
No. Who's the one? You like him a lot. He wears a t-shirt and like a
Punisher.
What, Punisher, yeah. I'm gonna be fucking going Punisher style on anybody who tries to kill my parents. Or Batman. That would probably be the more appropriate parent-killing revenge story.
Punisher got his wife and kid killed. That's why he's a Punisher now.
Yeah.
Although Punisher is
so I'll be Batman.
But Batman has that I don't kill people.
Where is he? I am an indie filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much my niche.
Sure.
I'm the type of person who will make a movie for like
$1,000.
Well, hopefully when we're talking feature, it's going to be a bigger budget than that. But like,
we made a 2.5-hour movie on $1,000.
Let's say that we did anywhere from the usual indie amount of like up to $5 million.
Okay, 40. Yeah.
Okay, and we guesstimated that the average budget of like the production and marketing is about $500 million for each one of those.
Well, that's what Marvel spends. The problem is DC. We haven't seen really their movies.
Right, but I'm saying somebody might go over a little bit, somebody might go under.
Sure.
Let's call 500.
Ant-Man's not getting $500 million in promotion.
But if we're doing 40 films at $500 million a clip,
a lot of fucking
$80 billion
right, yeah.
over the next 5 years in superhero movies.
wait, that math isn't right. 500,000 each. So that's
$500 million.
$500 million. So that's 2 movies for $1 billion. That's $20 billion. $20 billion. Because it's half of 40. 20 billion.
Half of 40.
20 billion.
Yeah,
not 80. Not doubling, half.
Yeah,
Still a big ass
number. Still $40 billion in superhero movies that are coming out. Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah. And a lot of good movies, I imagine.
That puts up money. That's a ridiculous
amount of money.
Can we just
not make Aquaman, I guess is the thing I'm thinking about?
They did that on Entourage, and it looked really good.
Yeah, but it's in reality, Aquaman is not really good.
Well, no, because you have to spend in a water tank the whole.
I just don't imagine that anybody really wants to see Aquaman. I don't remember which X-Men movie. Yeah, my arms are folded over because I'm so angry about this. I don't remember what X-Men movie it was that had that guy from Friday Night Lights playing Gambit.
Oh, yeah, that was the most recent one. It was the...
No, not the most recent one. I haven't seen that one.
Fold those arms again for me.
Oh, okay. You're trying to get a shot for the...
That's going to go on. That's going to go on.
Yeah, I'm really upset about it.
It was the Days of Future Past. That's where Gambit was in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I hated about that, being enough of a comic book fan to know, part of the fun of Gambit is him being like deep South Louisiana.
Cajun.
Everybody making fun of the way he talks.
Yeah.
And it's always like he has something really intelligent to say, but it's like, I'm gonna get down the bone deep.
Not that bad. That reminds
and then
me
you're just like
the guy from the Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
Homie, where you make it?
Yeah, that's kind of the joke. Like,
right.
Is that like you can never understand what he says, but he's like kind of articulate and like, but everyone goes like, shut up, Gambit.
Right.
But like in the X-Men movie that I saw, he was like, just sort of like non-discriminate South.
Yeah, he was more South Carolina than he was.
My name Gambit, and I'm gonna take that. Like just sort of like drawly.
Yeah.
I
think that the guy who is from he's from Friday Night Lights, right? That is the same guy.
Yeah, the guy who was also in John Carter.
Right. So he's used to doing a Texas accent because that's where Friday Night Lights takes place. And he mixed in a little bit of South Carolina, like that Gulf, not Gulf.
Thinking that'd be he'd close the gap. If he did a bit of a South Carolina and a bit of a Texas in the middle, he'd reach Louisiana. Yeah.
Turns out he's 8,000 miles off because he's got to go to France. And figure out how to throw some French in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's a lot of superhero movies. Not a lot of small budget movies that can make 500 Days of Summer, say it's costs $5 million and it makes $85 million.
Right.
So you're $80 million profit there.
Right.
But if you make Aquaman and it costs $500 million and it comes back as $600 million, then you made $100 million.
Right.
So they're going to argue that the $500 million investment is better than the $5 million investment because it brought back an extra $20 million.
But even though it's not relative, it's not proportional.
Even though for every one of those $500 million movies, they can make 10 of the $5 million movies.
But point being, proportionally, the $5 million movie makes more money. But in real dollars, the $500 million makes more money.
But like, if the $500 million movie bombs, like if it's
they miss out on that, that's a huge investment with no return.
Right. But a $5 million movie that bombs doesn't hurt as bad.
But here's the thing: they could take out Aquaman and spread that $500 million over the 6 years that we have left, and make 10 of your movies a year.
Right.
And spread those out. And if you lose it, you dump the $5 billion or the $5 million. But I'm almost certain Aquaman's going to take a dump on a $500 million budget. Maybe more.
I can't imagine they would give it $500 million.
Well, no, it's got to be more. It has to be more.
Unless Jim Cameron directs it.
The CG.
Get Vinny Chase, Mandy Moore.
Exactly. It's going to be mostly CG. So that means the budget's going to have to be bigger, not smaller.
I honestly think the only reason why they're making Aquaman is so that they have a movie for the Justice League, like a lead-in. Well, like they'll just every marketing bit will be about like, oh, you don't want to miss Aquaman, or else you're not going to understand anything about the Justice League. Now taking Rob to task. I go from complimenting him to taking him to task. If you listen to either the regular episode or the Spotlight last week, then you would have heard Rob say this, and I would like for him, the political science major,
right?
Here's what Rob said last week, and I would like for him to defend himself. We're in this little town that's it was the president who died in 40 days.
Rutherford B. Hayes?
No.
Garfield?
No.
Cleveland?
No.
I don't know.
William Henry Harrison. Yeah. Harrison.
Yeah. Okay. So,
and Rob put in the video, overlaid it with the words, yes, it was Hayes. Right. Defend yourself.
Okay, first of all, I was correct. This is what I told you before. We're working under the incorrect assumption that it was the president who died in 40 days, because that's what you said.
Who was? Do you want to go through William Henry guesses
Harrison,
first?
William Henry Harrison was the one who died in 6 days. Yes.
40.
30. 40. No, it's 40. It's 42 or 43.
Whatever. All I remember it from the Simpsons song. We are the mediocre presidents.
Oh, that's
right. You won't find our faces on dollars, 1 cents.
Nonetheless.
There's Fillmore, there's Taylor, there's Howard, and there's Hayes.
Fillmore, who is probably the
worst
gay president.
You're thinking of Buchanan.
I am thinking of Buchanan.
Yeah.
I haven't watched The Presidents in a couple years. Do you have the DVDs? Can I borrow them?
I do. If me and Rob were on Jeopardy and the thing was presidential history, I would be up a lot of points. Alex Trebek would be very impressed with me.
Much like our ongoing lifetime basketball score, you get a couple.
Yeah.
I would finish
every once in a while I say which president died in 40 days, and you say
Hayes.
Right.
So we're working under a flawed premise. First of all, you said we were in the little town.
Everybody stand up for Mr. President. He's about to explain himself.
We were in the little town where the president who died in 40 days. Now, the town that we were in...
To be fair, it was in Ohio where nobody has ever been elected president from.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, exactly. That's sarcasm. Presidents. That's sarcasm, sir.
7 presidents. all of the ones I named are Ohio presidents, by the way. All of the ones I named came from Ohio. So, that's number one. Number
the plot
two,
thickens.
Number 2, flawed premise because you said we were in the town of the president who died in 40 days. Now, I correctly named the president whose library we drove by.
Yes.
As it was Hayes.
Right.
But under the flawed premise that then I was searching for the answer to your question, which was the incorrect answer to where we were. I correctly answered where we were.
Maybe you should have written more about it on the video.
I just wanted to prove the point that I was right. It was Hayes.
What I'm going to do is, to make it easier for you on your video when you make it, is send you just the copy of the video that I titled Rob Wrong.
Okay.
So you can just put it back in there.
Sure.
With the audio. Ever. I feel
everybody gets to make one mistake in their life. That was mine.
I just happened to do it when it was on a podcast.
It was only a halfie, so that's okay.
Now I have to go through all the other errors you've ever made and just make a super cut.
How about this? I will pay $100 American
Ooh.
For any listener who calls in to the listener line. What's the phone number?
443-219-7595.
Any listener who can find something incorrect that I said, the episode number, and how far along in the episode it was. What was incorrect, and most importantly, what is the correct answer? Don't just point out that I'm wrong. You have to tell me what the correct answer is.
And obviously, this can't be of speculative things.
No. I mean, you can't say that Republicans are great when I say Republicans suck.
Right. Or opinion things, but if it was like
a factual thing.
If, for instance, Rob said that Martha Washington was the first president of the United States, you could say, no, it was actually Jorge Washington.
Jorge Washington, yes. Yeah, the immigrant.
Yeah.
From England. But nonetheless, so...
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
The $100 to anyone who can point out, except for Corey, you can't be associated with theanthem.com in any way.
Yeah, you can't be a member of the family.
Not a member of the family, and not a member of a family member of someone who is associated or works for the Anthem. But otherwise, any of our listeners, $100 if you can find an error.
Nice.
And what's that number again? Make sure they have it.
443-219-7595. Moving on to the Open.
Right.
That I did, where I was crying over the take me out to the ball game.
Yes.
The World Series is officially set, and it doesn't involve the Orioles. And most years that would have been a formality in July. But
we would have already known.
Now in the good years, we're upset that we didn't make it to the World Series.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
Robert.
Yes.
Who's your pick, Giants or Royals?
Res Ipsa. That's the team I'm caring about now.
Oh, just your fantasy
football. I couldn't give a shit less about the World Series. And here's the problem. It's a problem that people were pointing out at both the games. That it's two small markets, even though arguably San Francisco is not a small market. But MLB considers it a small market. Kansas City and San Francisco. And
if you're the Oakland A's and you're trying to build a stadium somewhere, you don't imagine that the San Francisco market is big.
Right. Nonetheless, so if it's the Yankees are playing, I'm cheering against the Yankees. If it's
whichever team is playing.
Yes, I'm cheering against them. Bigger teams, I mean, there's sometimes I will watch, but I am so, and the problem is this, I'm so jaded. The only reason I'm going to watch is to see I want to see the Royals lose one game. Just lose the first game and shut the fuck up. That's all I care about.
Okay, so here's my point. And I would like to say up front, congratulations to the Royals on winning.
You outplayed us.
I'm not going to be a poor sport about it.
No, they outplayed us.
However, when the Yankees have a murderer's row of players for them, like, 7 all-stars just in the line, in their batting order, and they act like pretentious douchebags, we expect it of them.
Right.
When you're scoring 2 runs a game, and every single, crazy thing that could possibly happen is happening, you're not allowed to be pretentious douchebags.
Yeah, they outscored us by 7 over 4 games.
Okay, you're the fucking Kansas City Royals, all right?
The team of destiny.
You just I know they say act like you've been here before.
Right.
Don't act like you've won the last 10 World Series and you're on a major roll.
Yeah.
You guys are all right. I know a lot of people are oh man, they haven't been in the playoffs in 29 years. No, they're literally douchebags. Yeah, real quick, just because you brought it up.
Right.
I feel like I should say, for the record, because some of the things I said about Ryan Flaherty last week were a little bit By
the way, I'd like to say this.
Harsh.
I invite Ryan Flaherty to come on the show. We'll come to you. We will come to you and record and let him have at you.
Okay,
on the program.
That's fine. I would like to say, for the record, though, before anybody starts making calls to Ryan Flaherty, that a big part of that was joking in Shannon's behalf.
Because she loves him so
much. So we go over the edge.
The other part of this is...
So to be fair, I might have crossed the line a bit when I, made, Adrian Peterson insinuations and...
You wish that he would have touched that kid in...
I didn't mean that inappropriately. I seriously was thinking of Adrian Peterson taking a switch to the kid.
Right, sure, yeah. But no, I think that the funniest thing we could do is to do a podcast with Ryan Flaherty on it and not tell Shannon until she listens on Tuesday. Yeah. We were at his house. We were hanging out.
We were just chilling.
He gave us a glass of milk. It was weird. Milk? Really?
Milk? Yeah, what's wrong with it? I'm an athlete.
Okay, sure. He's actually really down to earth, Shannon. I think you would really like him.
Yeah. He's a super nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Super nice guy. And anytime I brought up any of his failings, he was just like, you know what? No, I'm sorry.
I bumbled a catch.
I made a mistake. I can't.
I hate how humble you are. Stop it.
Please stop it. Anywho, I'm going to take the Giants just because my brother's out there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And I feel like it's a thing to do.
If I can get a good
Nice. All I yearn for in life is to be somebody's bitch.
That explains that stint you did in county.
That's a new drop. Right. It's going to be taking over the country.
Anyway, so you're calling the Giants. I'm calling disinterest.
I mean, I don't really care. I'm going to turn on at some point and watch some baseball, but it's going to hurt inside because I'm like, it's fresh.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about something else that you sent me this week, which was the FBI director talking about phone security, basically.
Yeah, let me pull this up so I can. You talk for a second while I do that.
So basically, this is what happened: is that Apple, after the fappening, they doubled up the security. They redid the security on their whatever it is that Apple uses. What is it? Skyphone? No.
iCloud.
Yeah.
Skynet.
Skynet, whatever it is. And then Android said, we don't even have a problem, but we recognize that some problem could happen, so they upped their security. And then the FBI director responded by saying, you all are anti-American because you're making it harder for us to hack the phone and wirelessly tap.
Here's the article from Yahoo that I sent to Rob. FBI Director James Corney warned in stark terms Tuesday against the push by technology companies to encrypt smartphone data and operating systems, arguing that murder cases could be stalled, suspects could walk free, and justice could be thwarted by a locked phone or an encrypted hard drive.
Oh my God!
Yeah. By the way, they've been hacking our phones for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say to the FBI, fuck you,
And also, I just like to give a little perspective. 240 people have been killed by police officers in this country since September 1st. So let that just sink in a little bit. So I'm not for making it easier for them. And the thing is, if they had, they are skirting the law. Because if they have a wiretapping search warrant, it doesn't matter. The company will give them access.
Oh, yeah, obviously. If you have a warrant, I'm not saying, like...
That's what they don't want. They want to get around the warrant.
If you have reasonable belief that I'm doing something illegal, and come on, seriously illegal? Like, not like,
smoking pot?
Yeah, something like that. Like, if you think that I'm going to, like, murder somebody, then yes, tap me and figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. But, just to shotgun blast every single American in the country with your warrantless wiretapping is not...
But the whole point is this: since I've handled a drug case, I beat a drug case in Caroline County based on the fact that there was a person who was 3 people removed from a drug dealer, and there was a mention of what an FBI expert called drug-like language used in between them. So, person A talked to person B and mentioned something that could be misconstrued as being talking about drugs in code.
Hey, do you want to go to the baseball game later today?
Sure. Why? Yeah. Or are we gonna go climb? Are we gonna go climb the mountain? Which, by the way, is apparently code for let's go smoke some crack.
Really?
In some FBI guy's mind is let's go if we're gonna climb a mountain. JR needs to be careful.
I'm gonna be talking about JR and the mountains all night. So, you want to go to the bathroom and climb that mountain?
So, person
what are you talking about?
Person
Come
A,
on, man. I know you like to climb the mountain.
Person A, who
I got a piece of tinfoil and a metal pipe and a lighter in my car. A small metal pipe, though, the type you could put in your mouth, not like.
First of all, you don't use metal.
Not a ridiculous pipe.
No. You use what's called a rose stem. It's a glass thing they sell at the.
Oh.
Metal would burn your mouth. You need glass. It diffuses the heat.
I thought there was enough diffusion between the tinfoil and the. Yeah. See, obviously, I don't know crack that well.
Apparently, I do. So, person A, who I represent.
Which one of the two of us is a lawyer? Show of hands.
Person A, who I represented, said something like that to person B. Person B said something like that to person C. And person C said something like that to person D, who was, in fact, a known drug dealer. So what the police had done is backtrack and back in time all of this language to find person A. And it turns out my guy was involved in trafficking drugs. Not the important point, though, because they got that information basically illegally. The warrant was invalid because it wasn't enough probable cause to get a warrant. And luckily we don't have to go before the same judge who issued the warrant, and I don't have to be like, yo, judge, I call bullshit on that warrant. Like, we got a different judge, luckily. So I got that beat. But essentially, that's what happens: is that if they can look in they look in and they say, "Oh, there's something that could be questionable here," that helps them get a warrant. That's not how it should be. That's not how the Fourth Amendment was intended.
It's kind of like one of those. Oh, I'm glad you're pissed because that means we're doing something right kind of situations.
Right. Yeah. People are so upset.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, that was my Ebola.
About the next topic, because everybody's so goddamn concerned about Ebola. And listen, justifiably, I think that they're downplaying the risk and that there should be some concern about it. But the FBI is warrantlessly wiretapping you. They are invading your privacy in every way. Police are shooting innocent citizens in the street. But I think that the government response is low. It should be more. But I think that people are freaking out. Listen, if you're trying to keep your kids out of Federalsburg Elementary, where I live, because you're worried about Ebola, you're a fucking idiot. Shut up. You should not have kids because I'm. You know what
I think the problem is? Is that there has been no attractive mothers who have killed their infant childs or congressmen who've sent out pictures of their dicks recently.
Oh, so we have to.
We have to have something to fill all the time on the national news.
Right.
Because it's 24 hours now. I don't know if you've heard that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Where can I see this 24 hours?
It's 24-hour news on several channels. And everybody's competing for eyeballs.
We have had one death in the U.S. from Ebola. And we have had 3 confirmed people sick in the U.S. from Ebola.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a shitty death rate.
And one of them's coming to Maryland. So everybody,
one of them's in Maryland.
Hide your kids.
They're already at the NIH in Maryland, so they're here. But the under-response is what I'm worried about.
I wonder how many people who went to Taco Bell are now worried that they got Ebola.
I got Ebola!
I've been shitting all night.
But so
I don't know if it's Ebola or that BB 5-layer burrito I ate. It's probably Ebola.
Now I kind of want Taco Bell. Later on tonight, definitely gonna get some Taco Bell.
They have the little Cinnabon things that are.
Do they?
Yeah, it's terrible for you.
Like
I don't care.
Four little Cinnabons?
Four little like Cinnabon balls with the creamy, jizzy goodness on the inside.
Right.
And you can't like eat a bit of it and then just let the goo come out. You gotta just like put a whole ball in your mouth.
And bite down and let the gooey spell.
Put a ball in your mouth and let the jizz take over.
Anyway, getting back to Ebola.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Very seriously.
I've been waiting for an opportunity to use my Taco Bell bets.
Ebola is a serious deal, and nobody wants to get it. Even if we use the CDC guidelines, which say that, I think I told everybody last week, that you can't, it's not about coughing, it's the bodily fluids.
Yeah.
The guy threw up on the plane from Nigeria to JFK before he died.
That guy shit on a lot of people's mouths.
Well, you make it aerosol when you're puking.
Yeah.
Because, like, you ever get that splashback when you're puking? You're having just, like, the worst night ever.
We're about to have a night of drinking, and now you're talking about puke splashback.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Anyway.
Fireball shots.
Oh, God, let's not do Fireball.
I'm not going to throw up tonight.
Just tasting the Fireball. Anyway, So Ebola is serious. We should take it seriously. You're all overreacting. Maybe a little more concerned that American police officers have shot 240 people. Probably should be, whether or not you are. Stop fearing Ebola and start fearing the police. That's basically my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Well, anyway.
The Anthem can be found at otheanthem.com, Corey at otheanthem.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Vimeo, and the listener line, which we promoted earlier, 443-219-7595.
And don't forget, if you can find an error that I've made, factual error,
Rob is going to give you $100 in PayPal cold hard cash.
There you go. You can find me online at any of your social networks at Robert N. Cheek, except for Facebook. That's Rob Cheek Esquire, although I still am going to start Robert N. Cheek on Facebook. And you can find a Dead Drop at deaddrop.com. You can find my blog and other political rantings if you like what I have to say. If you don't, you can find that at foundingthefuture.us.